What if there was a secret plan to end your life, and you didn't even know it? Have you ever wondered how close you've come to danger without ever realizing it? And what if the very thing that saved you wasn't strength or strategy, but something quietly arranged behind the scenes? In Acts 23:12-22, we step into a moment filled with tension, secrecy, and divine intervention. After Paul's intense appearance before the Sanhedrin, where division broke out and chaos filled the room, you might think things would settle down. But instead, the danger grows deeper. This time, it's not public, it's hidden, it's deliberate. A group of more than 40 men forms a conspiracy. These are not random individuals caught up in emotion. This is a calculated decision. They bind themselves with an oath, a serious, self-imposed curse, that they will not eat or drink until they have killed Paul. Think about the level of commitment this represents. They are not just angry, they are determined, they are organized, and they are willing to take extreme measures to carry out their plan. But they don't stop there. They approach the chief priests and elders, the very leaders who are supposed to uphold justice, and present their scheme. They ask for cooperation. Their plan is simple but dangerous. They want the council to request that Paul be brought before them again, under the pretense of examining his case more carefully. But in reality, they intend to ambush him along the way and kill him before he ever reaches the council. It's a trap, carefully designed, strategically planned, and completely hidden from Paul. At this moment, everything seems stacked against him. He is already under guard. He has enemies both outside and inside the system. And now there is a secret plot moving forward with deadly intent. But then, something unexpected happens. A young man enters the story. Paul's nephew. We don't know much about him. His name is not recorded. His background is not detailed. He is not a prominent figure. And yet, in this critical moment, he becomes the key. He somehow hears about the conspiracy. We are not told how. Maybe he overheard something. Maybe someone spoke carelessly. Maybe it was simply the right place at the right time. But what matters is this. He knew, and he chose to act. He goes to the barracks and tells Paul. Imagine that moment. Paul, already facing uncertainty, suddenly learns that more than 40 men are waiting to kill him. Not just hoping, not just threatening, planning, committing, waiting. What would you do? Fear would be natural, panic would be understandable. But Paul remains composed. He does not react emotionally. He does not lose control. Instead, he takes immediate, wise action. He calls one of the centurions and asks him to take the young man to the commander because he has something important to report. Notice this. Paul does not try to handle the situation alone. He uses the system in place. He trusts the process. He understands that God can work through structures, through authority, through unexpected channels. The centurion listens. He takes the young man seriously, and he brings him to the commander. Now the tension builds. Will the commander listen? Will he dismiss it as rumor? Will he take action in time? The commander takes the young man by the hand and leads him aside privately. This is significant. He does not ignore him. He does not brush him off. He gives him space to speak freely. What is it you want to tell me? He asks, and the young man explains everything. The plan, the ambush, the oath, the coordination with the religious leaders, every detail. And then he warns him. Don't give in to them, because more than 40 men are waiting in ambush. This is a moment of truth, a moment where one decision could change everything. And the commander believes him. He listens. He understands the seriousness of the situation, and immediately the plan to kill Paul begins to fall apart. But here's what makes this story so powerful. Paul never saw the plot. He never heard the conversation between those men. He had no control over their plan. And yet, he was protected. Not by chance, not by luck, but through a series of small, precise moments that aligned perfectly. A young man overhears something. He decides to act. He finds access to Paul. Paul responds with wisdom. A centurion listens. A commander takes it seriously. Each step matters. Each moment connects. And behind it all, God is at work. This is the kind of protection we often overlook. We expect miracles to be dramatic, visible, unmistakable. But sometimes God's protection is quiet, subtle, hidden in the details, in the right person hearing the right thing at the right time, in the courage of someone who chooses to speak, in the openness of someone willing to listen, and in the wisdom to act when it matters most. Paul's life was not preserved because he fought off 40 men. It was preserved because God orchestrated a chain of events that stopped the plan before it could begin. And this teaches us something deeply important. There are battles you will never see, threats you will never know about, dangers that never reach you, not because they weren't real, but because they were stopped before they could touch you. We often focus on what we go through, but we rarely think about what we've been protected from, the moments that never happened, the situations that never unfolded, the paths that were quietly redirected. Paul didn't know about the plot until it was already in motion. And yet, God had already set things in place to stop it. This is divine protection, not always loud, not always obvious, but always intentional. And there's another powerful lesson here: the role of ordinary people. Paul's nephew was not a leader. He was not a soldier. He was not a public figure. But he paid attention. He cared enough to act. And he spoke up. That changed everything. Never underestimate the impact of a single decision, a single voice, a single moment of courage. You may think what you know is small. You may think your role is insignificant. But in God's plan, even the smallest action can have life-changing consequences. What if the young man had stayed silent? What if he thought, this isn't my place? What if he ignored what he heard? The story could have ended very differently, but he didn't stay silent, he stepped forward. And because of that, Paul lived. This reminds us that sometimes being part of God's plan doesn't require greatness. It requires obedience, awareness, willingness, and courage. It also reminds us that God uses people, real people, imperfect people, unexpected people, to accomplish his purposes. You don't have to be in the spotlight to make a difference. You just have to be available. As the commander listens to the young man, he gives him one final instruction. Don't tell anyone that you have reported this to me. This keeps the plan hidden. It protects the young man, and it allows the commander to act strategically. What comes next will ensure Paul's safety, but that is a story for another moment. For now, what matters is this. The plan to kill Paul has been exposed, the danger has been interrupted, and the story continues. Because Paul's mission is not finished. God had already told him, you must testify in Rome, and no human plan could stop that. This is the foundation of Paul's confidence. Not his strength, not his intelligence, not his circumstances, but God's promise. And that same truth applies to you. If God has called you, if God has placed something in your life, if God has given you a purpose, then nothing can take that away before it's time. There may be opposition, there may be challenges, there may even be hidden threats, but God is not surprised, God is not unprepared, and God is not absent. He is working, even when you don't see it, even when you don't feel it, even when everything around you seems uncertain. So take comfort in this. You are not alone. There are things happening for you that you may never fully understand. There are moments being arranged in your favor without your knowledge. There are people being positioned to protect, to guide, to help, and all of it is part of something greater. So stay faithful, stay aware, stay willing. Because you never know when a simple action, yours or someone else's, will become the turning point in a much bigger story. And remember, God's protection is not always loud, but it is always real. Thank you for watching this video. If this message encouraged you, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this today.